everyone. Hey. Hi. I know it's been a minute. I'm back, hopefully, to stay. Welcome back to another story time with Renee. I know it's been a minute. It's been a good 10 months without me not recording a video, and today I chose to do one. I'm just like, I need to record a video. If you're new to my channel, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I have another story time for you guys, and as requested, I have a lot of people that were like, oh my god, Renee, like, when are you doing another story? Like, what's going on? Blah, blah, blah. But like, you know, I just feel like when you're going through things mentally, it's very hard to pick up the phone and place it and turn on your light and, you know, and start recording. It's just, you know, it's all about my mental health, really. I feel like over these past few months, it's just been a lot. It's been heavy, you know? It's been a lot going on. There's been a lot on my mind, and it's just, you know, whatever. Let's just pick up the phone now and make a fucking video. All right. If you guys haven't already, please like and subscribe to my channel. Just like the video right now. You can comment down below anything you'd like. Let's just get started, okay? So over the past few months anyways, I've had people messaging me saying like, do the story about shrooms. Let's talk about shrooms, you know? What was your experience when it came to doing shrooms? So I'm just gonna go back in time and start from there. All right, back in maybe like 2014. No, it was 2015, the same year I got pregnant. So let's rewind back to 2015. Back in 2015, I was working at, was I still working there? No, I wasn't. Fuck, how do I start the story? So back in 2015, I know a guy. No, I don't know a guy. He's my baby father. Oh my God. My daughter's dad, he had introduced me to shrooms. I remember in high school, people would tell me different stories about doing shrooms and their experience on it, and how one time they did shrooms. For example, there's a guy in my class, right? He told me that he did shrooms one time. And he mentioned when he was on it, he started tripping out. He started seeing anacondas snapping at him and, you know, stuff like that. And to me, I'm just like, oh my God, like that sounds so spooky. What else do you see? People would say, oh, when I'm on shrooms, I see demons, I see this, I see people, I see dead people, I see dead animals. You know what I mean? I just feel like that wasn't my experience. I thought that's what was gonna happen to me, but it didn't happen. So my daughter's dad now, let's give him a name because he's gonna be in other story times, and let me think of a name for this guy. What the fuck am I gonna call this guy? I'm gonna call him Lotion because I see lotion in the background. Okay, no, let's not use that. Okay, so I'm gonna call my daughter's dad Teddy because he's built like a teddy bear. Back in 2015, Teddy explained to me that he's done shrooms before many times. He gave me the rundown of how to do shrooms and what he's gone through and stuff like that. And he's pretty much telling me about like the different experiences that he's been through, the different people that he's met when he was on the drug and when he was on shrooms and stuff like that. He mentioned that he uses shrooms to connect with people, higher beings and stuff like that, because realistically, shrooms is a psychedelic. And if you go back into history, when people have done psychedelics and stuff like that, they use it to speak to the gods and whatnot, right? Or gain power, whatever the fuck it is. You guys do your research, but from what I remember, that's pretty much what it is. Like trying to connect to higher beings, trying to connect to gods and stuff like that. During the time when Teddy had introduced shrooms to me, I had recently gotten out of a relationship. And I feel like me and Teddy being around each other, it was more so of like a comfort thing, you know? I had someone now that was like pretty much replacing my ex, you know? Something like that. So when he brought certain things to my attention, I was just like, okay, yeah, like, you know, I'm interested. In general, I am open-minded when it comes to certain things, so it's not really a problem for me. But when it came to shrooms, I was always interested in doing shrooms because I just felt like it was one of those drugs that aren't like cocaine or something like that. It doesn't fuck with me. I didn't feel like it was gonna fuck with me, so that's why I chose to do it, right? There was a time where we were watching videos, there were times where he would tell me about shrooms and his experiences on it, and before I would do anything, I'm like, let me just do my research and see what other people have experienced, what have they gone through when they had done shrooms. So I remember going on YouTube and I was watching certain videos, and I remember this one girl talking about how when she was on the shrooms, I can't remember how many grams she did. Whatever amount she did, she's mentioned that how she did shrooms in the dark with her boyfriend, and they had turned the lights off and she started seeing demons and stuff like that. And I was so worried. I'm like, I don't know about this. I don't know about doing shrooms anymore because I'm not trying to I'm not trying to see things like that. I'm not trying to connect with no duppy, no devil, no nothing, no ghost, no nothing, you know? So I was more so like hesitant when it came to it. And also like when it comes to health, right? I didn't want it to fuck with me. I didn't know if I was allergic to the shrooms. I didn't know anything of it. So I was just like, okay, maybe I shouldn't do it. I remember Teddy getting upset. He was just like, oh, like, why are you changing your mind all of a sudden? Blah, blah, blah. But I'm just like, why are you getting upset? You know, like, this is my world. This is my life, my health. You know, I am curious same time, but I was still worried because I was kind of scared. I'm like, I don't want to see things. Like, I don't want to hallucinate. One day I had a conversation with one of my guy friends. Well, my guy friend at the time, which is my man today. But I was having conversations with him back then. And he was mentioning it to me like, you know, don't do it and stuff like that. Like, you don't want to turn into no, you know, you don't want to get zooked pretty much. You don't know what the drug is going to do to you. The shrooms is going to do to you. You don't know what it's going to do. So maybe you shouldn't do it. And I was saying like, you know, I'm kind of curious. Maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't. Like I was in between, like I was really in between doing it and not doing it. So eventually when I came to terms with it and I'm like, you know what? Why not? Let's just do it. Let's see how it goes. It shouldn't be that bad, right? Let's just see how it goes. Like I'm not gonna die, right? So let's just see, right? Okay, so yeah. There was one time I was at Teddy's house and he had gotten shrooms from whoever, I don't know at the time, but he did get shrooms or whatever, right? So I told him like, I'm not trying to chew on it because when you look at shrooms, it's like, it looks like fungus, pretty much. It is fungus, but when you look at it, it's like gross. And then when you smell it, it has like a weird scent. And I'm just like, yeah, I don't know about this. I don't know if I can chew it up in my mouth like this. Maybe we shouldn't do it. And then he's like, no, that's okay. Like, you know, I'm going to make it into a tea. And I'm like, okay, so if you're going to make my tea, just add a little bit of sugar to it because the taste was actually so bad. And the smell itself threw me off. I was getting nauseous already just by the scent alone. So he had 6 grams of shrooms. And in my opinion, 6 grams is a lot. 6 grams is a lot for a first try. For a first try, I think 6 grams is a lot because just everything that I've gone through when I was on shrooms, I feel like that was just a very high percentage that I shouldn't have taken. When I watch other videos, I did see other people say, oh, I only tried 2 grams, 3 grams, blah, blah, blah. But true say, I was drinking it in a tea. I felt like it shouldn't be too bad, right? But I'm not experienced when it comes to shrooms anyway. That was him. That was all Teddy. Teddy's the one that was leading the show, leading the way. Me and Teddy were at his house. He stayed in the basement at the time. And he went upstairs. He went to go make the tea. He came back. He had a cup for me and he had a cup for himself. At the time, I'm like, okay, how bad could this be, you know? So pretty much I took my sip. He took his sip, chugged it all down. And what he had mentioned was when it comes to shrooms, it doesn't tap in until like maybe 30 minutes in. 15 to 30 minutes is when the shrooms taps in. During that time, we chugged it down in his room at the time. We were watching anime. So I don't remember which anime was on, but let's just say there was a lot of fighting on the show, a lot of colors and all that stuff, right? So I remember just laying back with him and, you know, we were just watching the show after we took our chugs from the shroom tea, just watching the show. And I remember just looking at the TV and seeing them fighting and all that stuff, all the colors, it's pink, it's purple, yellow, whatever the case, right? I remember all the colors from the TV just started to expand. When I seen this, I'm like, okay, no. No. Am I tripping already? Is it happening already? Teddy mentioned that when you drink it into a tea, it goes right into your bloodstream, like right away. Right away, right off the bat, the tea works more, it's more effective than it would if you were to chew it. So during that time when we're watching the show and I'm seeing the anime on TV and I'm seeing the colors just like, you know, start to expand all over the walls. Like when I tell you, how can I even explain it? How can I explain this to you guys so you guys have like an understanding? It's like when you have like, I don't know. I can't explain it, but whatever. Anyways, so pretty much like the colors from the TV were there on the TV, but then it started to just expand. So now it's all over the room. Now the whole room is colorful. Now the whole room is pink and purple and yellow, just like the anime show, right? And I couldn't believe it. I'm just like, oh my God. I'm like, Teddy, I am starting to feel it. I'm starting to, you know, I'm seeing the colors on the walls right now. He kind of laughed to himself because, you know, obviously he's monitoring me at the same time because it's my first time. He's already done it like 10 plus times. So it's just like, it's nothing for him. After I seen the colors all over the TV, I'm like, I need to go use the washroom. So I feel like I had to pee multiple times when it came to taking this tea because it was a huge cup. We took 6 grams of it and I chugged the whole entire thing. So right off the bat, I needed to go to the bathroom. Also, before I go any further, when you do shrooms, they do say that it lasts like 6 hours, right? 6 hours. So take that in. Let's just say we did it at what time? I don't fucking know when we did it, but whatever. The time that it did end, I'll get there. Pretty much, I seen the colors on the TV. I got up, I went to go use the washroom. I'm sitting on the toilet, using it. I remember covering my face like this while I was using the washroom. And then when I moved my hands and I looked at Teddy, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, yo, you're clay right now. Like, you turned into clay. I couldn't believe it. Have you guys ever seen the movie Harold and Kumar? The Christmas edition, when they accidentally took the cocaine? Like, the cocaine, it hit their face, and then when they went outside, everything was like clay and cartoon and all that stuff. I couldn't believe it when I looked at Teddy, and his skin tone was orange, his face was pasty. I could not believe my fucking eyes. I'm just like, oh no. Right then and there, I started to trip. I started to get worried, because I'm like, yo, like, if this is the beginning, what else am I gonna see? What else am I gonna see if this is the beginning? My man at the time turned into clay. After that whole thing, he was laughing when I'm like, yo, you look like clay right now. Like, this is unreal. Like, this is not happening right now. What else is gonna happen next? So during this time, I remember I got up and I went into the bedroom. Me and him, we just went to the room and we just started chilling. Like, you know, I just started to let the shrooms come over me. It was like a very heavy feeling. So the best way I can describe it is like, if you can go back in time and imagine you sitting on the bus. You know, sitting on TTC Transit or, you know, whatever transit bus you guys get on, city bus. Imagine sitting on the bus and sitting in the back, and like, you know, when the bus is paused at a red light, and you know, you could feel like the engine or whatever the case, the way how the bus feels, you know, that buzzing feeling when you're just chilling and the bus is like, you know what I mean? I can't explain it, but that's the best way I can put it. It just feels like it's like a numbness feeling. It's like you're buzzing. Your whole body is just buzzing. So I remember I got into his room after using the bathroom, seeing him look like clay. I got into his room. I remember I sat on his carpet right by the door. So his door is right here. I'm sitting right here. The door is closed. I'm sitting right here at the on the carpet. So me and him are chilling. We're just sitting. I just remember being so out of it. I remember just looking around and noticing that everything has energy. When I say everything has energy, everything is moving. So right now I'm chilling and I'm looking at my TV, I'm looking behind me, I'm looking at everything right now. Everything's still, right? When you're on shrooms, everything is just like glowing and moving, and everything is just moving. It's very interesting, because it's like, it makes you think. Right now everything is moving, but with our, what do you want to call it? I just feel like with the dimension that we're in right now, we can't see what's going on, right? I feel like when you start to do a psychedelic, it starts to enhance your third eye and stuff like that, right? So let me get to that third eye. So when I was sitting with Teddy on the ground, sitting on the carpet, there were parts of me that wanted to get up, but it's like I couldn't get up. I was starting to get worried, because I'm starting to feel like my legs shut down. You know when your legs are sleeping? You know that very hard, like just that sharp tingly feeling in your legs when your feet are sleeping, your legs are sleeping? That's exactly what was going on. So me being on the shrooms, that is exactly what was going on to my body. I was sitting on the ground. Everything was so detailed. I remember I was drooling even at one point, because it's like I was talking and it's like I just started drooling. But when I looked into my spit, when I looked into my spit, I couldn't believe how clear and crystallized my spit was. Even one strand of hair. I seen one strand of hair on the ground. I couldn't believe how crystallized and everything was. I can see the full details of that one strand of hair on the ground. I couldn't believe it. So pretty much when you're on shrooms now, when it came to my experience, I feel like shrooms will start to open up things. So for example, I remember I was starting to cry out about my great grandma being gone. I remember crying out for her and like, you know, telling her like I will see her again, because my grandma did recently pass away from that. My great grandma did recently pass away from the time that I did do the shrooms. Maybe a year from that time. But you know, even till this day, it still affects me. So I feel like when I was on shrooms, it hit me. It hit me that like, you know, she's really gone, and it's like I almost like try to hear her voice. It's like almost like as if I did hear her voice, and it's like the emotions just hit me out of nowhere. During the time that me and my ex did go through our breakup, it was still pretty recent as well. So I feel like during that time too, I was starting to call out, not really call out for him, but more so like cry out and like, you know, just talking about the relationship and like, you know, what went wrong and stuff like that. But it was very intense, very heightened. I've never felt that way before. I feel like it hit me that way even because I'm the kind of person that bottles everything in. If someone bothers me or like, you know, something pisses me off, usually I would say something, but more times I don't say anything. It's just like, you know, whatever, like it is what it is. Fuck it. I block shit out for the most part. And it's like, you know, being 29 today, that has to stop because that shit will drive you crazy. That shit will drive me crazy. It'll drive anybody crazy. During that time, I remember crying out for my grandma, crying out about my ex-boyfriend. I remember I was even laughing in between. You're kind of going through like an episode of like emotions. So like you're going like through a roller coaster pretty much. You're up and down with your emotions and I don't know. It depends on what you're going through. Those are the stuff that I was going through and that's why it hit me the way that it did. I remember there was also a time where I was sitting there and I remember I had to pee. But because I started to feel my legs shut down, like from my ankles, so it was like different levels to it. At first, I was okay up top, and then my ankles shut down first. My feet shut down first. My legs, like my calves area, shut down first. My knees locked. My thighs numb. My arms, my hands, and everything numb. Everything just started to like, just feel like a buzz. A complete body buzz. My mind, it's like, I couldn't think. But it's like whenever you close your eyes when you're on shrooms, it's like, I can't even explain it. So like, for example, like, you know the movie Get Out? You know when she turns the cup around, the spoon around in the cup, and she tells him whatever, and he goes into his hypnosis, right? Pretty much like that. Pretty much when you close your eyes on shrooms, it shoots you just like that. I remember just closing my eyes and being like, it just felt like my existence, I don't know, it felt like I was falling into a very deep sleep. Like, I can't even explain it. It just felt very deep. And I remember not waking up, but I remember opening up my eyes and saying, okay, Renee, no, do not close your eyes. Because that shit just felt so, like, bizarre. That shit felt like it could bring you to heaven even. It just felt like, okay, you know, don't let the high take over you. You know, just experience what's going on with your body and, you know, just go through it. Go through it. Don't panic. Just go through it. So when I was sitting there and I was feeling my ankles and my legs and my thighs and everything starting to shut down, I had to go and pee. I remember having to pee so bad that I couldn't move. I remember I just sat there and it's like my body just did its thing. My body just released. It just released too much information, whatever. Pissed up myself on the carpet. And then I remember just, you know, just being super numb. Teddy was sitting there too. It's like as if he couldn't get up either. And then I remember having to pee again. And then same thing again. Pissed right there in the same spot. But it's like my body just shut down. Like I could not move. And I'm just like, oh my God, like who told me to do shrooms? Who told me to do shrooms? So pretty much while my body was shutting down and every time I closed my eyes, it's like listening to what Teddy had said and how he had met certain people when he was on it, how you know, he tries to connect to different gods or whatever the case, right? None of that happened to me. It was more so like just an experience of like emotions, high emotions, and, you know, just pretty much forgiving myself for how I feel, forgiving other people for what they put me through. It was more so like an awakening for me, you know, I don't know, like a rebirth type thing. That's how it felt for me. So when my body was shutting down, I remember everything shut down completely up until this area. I remember just sitting there feeling buzzed and completely numb. But all I could feel was the center of my head. All I could feel was like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like you would just have to go through it to understand. And this is the part for me where I told people that they should do shrooms because overall, it's like it's like a spiritual awakening. And I feel like in many ways, the government and stuff like that, they try to hold back on certain drugs. They don't want us to do certain things. It's because certain mind altering things can give you answers. You know, as a human, it can give you answers. I feel like you can see things that are not here on a regular day, but when you start to use certain shrooms or certain psychedelics, certain things, it starts to open up your eyes. And like, it's just very interesting. It's just very, very interesting. I remember pissing on the ground. I remember hearing him laugh, hearing Teddy laugh. I remember like during that time, I'm trying to think of what happened. So pretty much after pissing up myself on the carpet, I remember like a bit of time went by. Like the way how it felt like only 30 minutes was going by, an hour maybe going by. That's exactly what it felt like. Sitting there in his room, I could hear his mom and them upstairs, and I'm just like, oh my God, he was starting to get worried because he's just like, if they come downstairs and see you in this freaking, if his parents see me in this state, they would be so worried. They'd be like, maybe this girl needs to go to the hospital because what the fuck is going on right now? You come drug out the girl and, you know. But overall, I wasn't scared or anything. Like, it wasn't as bad as I'm making it seem. During the experience, it really was not that bad. After pissing out myself on the ground, I remember getting up. He helped me get up. Everything was just moving like, you know, Matrix? When like for example, Matrix, when they shoot a gun and the bullet, you can see the bullet following each other from the back. Like, you can just follow it. You can see it tracing each other. Or like when you run past and you can see you following you. You know that? Yeah, like something like that. So pretty much I went like this and I couldn't believe how slow my hands were pretty much coming into contact with my physical hand. I was just like, okay, it makes sense. It's just like the dimension that we're in, I can't explain it. It's just so spiritual. It's just so interesting. I remember, yeah, so pretty much he walked past me and that's what I would see. I would see the Matrix, pretty much that effect when he walked past me. When I'm looking at certain things, it just looked like things are just like, you know, gravitating. I'll show different examples if I can find some examples of what I pretty much seen. But I remember going into the shower after that. When I was looking at the water coming through the shower, everything was so crystallized and so detailed. Everything was so beautiful. Everything was just so like, I don't know. I just felt like I was at peace. I feel like me going through the shrooms experience, it was just very peaceful for me. It's like, just like I said, like an awakening. Like, it just opened up different, like, I don't know. And I wish I had told the story years ago. I remember telling people back then and it was more fresh. I feel like I'm missing a lot of parts, but anyways, so after that experience, I'm just like, okay, that was a bit much. Like, you know, it was fine though. Otherwise, when we came out of the high or whatever, came out of the experience, I remember I looked at the time and I couldn't believe it. I looked at the time and it was like around like close to 10. But I know for a fact when we did the shrooms, it was maybe around like, it had to be around like 3 something, 4 something maybe, the latest, 4 something. I couldn't believe it was like 10 something when we were done. The whole experience did not feel like 6 hours. The way how everything just went by, it was so fast. It was like the craziest thing I've ever experienced. I've never experienced something like that in my life. And honestly, I did recommend it to other people and I did tell myself, like, you know, I would do it again just to see what I'd go through. At the age of 29 now, would I do it? I don't think about doing it. I don't think about that being anything. Like, you know, being a mom now, it's just like, it's not really on my mind like that. But definitely, like, you know, if someone wanted to do it, I would probably do it just for fun, but not a lot. Not the same amount that I did the last time. And yeah, pretty much after that experience, we ordered pizza and we were just talking about it and stuff like that. We started going over me crying and stuff when it came to my grandma and stuff like that. It was just a very, like, pretty much like closure for me. I know my great grandma's good. I know she's with God. I know she's good. My experience when it came to my ex, who I loved off so much, I just feel like it was closure, you know? Close that door and it's okay. Everything is gonna be okay. And it is what it is, you know? At the end of the day, you can't change anything. You can't change people. It is what it is, man. Like, you just have to live that way sometimes. So did I do shrooms again? Yes, I did. After that time of us doing shrooms, so that following summer, we chose to do it again. I remember one time he made it into a tea and we chugged everything down, but that experience, nothing happened. I was just like, okay, that's kind of weird. I wasn't expecting that. But he was just thinking maybe like the shrooms were old or, you know, it just wasn't as heightened as it was before, which was fine. I'm like, okay, because I was worried, am I gonna lie? I'm like, what if the experience is different this time, right? But no. And then the third time, we did it again. So this time, he wasn't in his parents' house. We were on our own, and we tried the tea again. So this time, I chugged the tea. Maybe this time it was maybe like 4 grams, maybe 3 grams, maybe 3.5, 4 grams. Not too much like the last time. This time, we were watching a scary movie. And I remember sitting there watching the scary movie. And I've watched the scary movie so many times. You guys know the movie Babadook? Babadook. I'm watching Babadook. And I'm noticing that the mom in the movie, she was like vibrating, like she was walking, but like her aura was just starting to like, I don't know, like I could see like her halo and shit, like I don't fucking know, but she just started like to vibrate and stuff in the movie. And I remember I was just like, what's going on? Like why is the movie moving like that? I watched this movie so many times, not taking in that I just did shrooms. Not taking in that the effects are coming back to me. And you know, this third time I feel like it was more relaxing. This time it's like I had the experience from the first time, so we chose to go outside. So pretty much in this backyard, like you can walk through like a trail, and there was water back there, there's benches back there. So we just sat on the benches and we just enjoyed the view pretty much. So being on shrooms this third time, it was more relaxing, more peaceful, more, you know, I can feel the wind differently. I can feel like, you know, I can see the water more clear, the animals more clear, the sounds, everything was just so heightened but so beautiful at the same time. And I remember we did go back inside and we pretty much finished off our experience, you know. He did his thing for hours. He went down on me for hours. But remember I told you, when it feels like it's like a 30-minute trip or an hour trip, hours go by. So during this time, I remember I looked at the time, he started doing his thing. I look back at the time, I'm like, no way, Teddy, no way you're eating it for that long. Like, you know, but it was good. It was great experience, very peaceful. Would I recommend it? Yes, I would. I would recommend it, you know, for a first try. To me, shrooms is not like a drug. It's not like a hardcore drug. It doesn't fuck with you. Well, it didn't fuck with me. I feel like it's very peaceful. If you want answers, you want to go through a spiritual awakening, I feel like shrooms is the one for you. But otherwise, thank you guys so much for watching my video. That was pretty much it. I can't think of anything else that might have happened, but pretty much the whole experience was very, very interesting. A whole body buzz, and yeah, nothing too crazy. When people say that they've seen things and they hallucinate and stuff like that, it's just like, where? Hallucinate where? Maybe everyone's minds, their brains are different, the chemicals in their brains, I don't fucking know. But for me, none of that happened. But thank you guys otherwise for tuning in. I will be back with another story time momentarily. I won't keep you guys hanging. I'm sorry. But when it comes to mental health, I have to make sure that I'm good up here. But no, before anything, you guys don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And if you are new, thank you so much for watching my video about shrooms. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.